In my 5 years as Dr. Jocelyn, I've had a lot of conversations with men who feel disconnected, frustrated, and honestly exhausted by modern relationships. Some have decided to step back from dating entirely. Others are questioning whether companionship is even worth the emotional toll anymore. And here's what I've learned. They're not wrong to question it. Now, I'm a doctor, not a relationship guru, but I do know this. Your emotional health directly impacts your physical health. And if pursuing relationships is causing you chronic stress, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy, that's a legitimate health concern. So today, I want to talk about something important: the value of building a fulfilling life for yourself first, regardless of whether there's a partner in the picture. Because here's the truth, most people won't tell you, you don't need a relationship to be complete. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you're here because you're rethinking what actually matters in your life, hit that like button. It helps me reach more men who need this message. Let's address something head on. You don't need a relationship to be happy, healthy, or fulfilled. I know that sounds controversial. We're told from a young age that finding the one is the ultimate goal, that companionship completes us, that being alone means we've somehow failed. But biologically, that's not true. Your happiness, your health, your sense of purpose, none of that requires a romantic partner. Yes, healthy relationships can enhance your life, but they should never be the foundation of it. From a medical perspective, here's what I see. Men who build their entire sense of worth around finding or keeping a partner experience chronic stress, anxiety, and depression when relationships don't work out. Their cortisol stays elevated, their sleep suffers, their health deteriorates. But men who build fulfilling lives independent of relationships, they're healthier, more resilient, and ironically more attractive when they do choose to pursue companionship. So let's talk about what actually matters: building a life you genuinely love, with or without a partner. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting human connection. It means building a life so fulfilling that a relationship becomes a bonus, not a necessity. Here's what that looks like practically. 1. You have purpose beyond relationships. Your life has meaning that doesn't depend on someone else. Maybe it's your work, maybe it's a hobby you're passionate about, maybe it's a cause you care about, or simply the pursuit of personal growth. When your purpose comes from within, you're not constantly seeking validation from others, and that stability, that's magnetic. 2. You're comfortable being alone. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means you enjoy your own company. You're not desperately filling every moment with distractions or seeking constant companionship just to avoid being with yourself. From a health perspective, being comfortable alone reduces anxiety and builds emotional resilience. You're not dependent on others for your peace of mind. 3. Your happiness isn't conditional. You're not waiting for the right relationship to finally be happy. You're building happiness now through meaningful activities, strong friendships, personal goals, and self-care. When your happiness comes from within, you're not vulnerable to emotional manipulation or one-sided relationships that drain you. Here's the biological reality. When you stop making relationships the center of your life, your stress decreases. Your cortisol levels stabilize, your sleep improves, your blood pressure drops, your immune system strengthens. You feel more grounded, more confident, and more at peace. And emotionally, you stop tolerating bad behavior. You stop chasing people who don't value you. You stop sacrificing your dignity just to avoid being alone. That shift alone from desperation to self-sufficiency transforms your quality of life. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. When you need a relationship, you make terrible choices. You tolerate disrespect because you're afraid of being alone. You ignore red flags because you're desperate for companionship. You lose yourself trying to please someone who doesn't even appreciate the effort. From a health perspective, this creates chronic emotional stress. You're constantly anxious about losing the relationship. You're walking on eggshells. You're sacrificing your own needs to keep someone else around. And that stress? It's killing you. Literally. Chronic relationship stress increases your risk for heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, and even early death. So here's the hard truth. If you're pursuing relationships from a place of neediness, you're setting yourself up for failure and damaging your health in the process. So if relationships aren't the answer, what is? Simple. Focus on building a life you genuinely love. Here's your action plan. 1. Invest in your physical health. Take care of your body, eat well, move regularly, get quality sleep. Your physical health directly impacts your emotional well-being and confidence. When you feel strong and healthy, you naturally feel more self-sufficient and less dependent on external validation. 2. Cultivate meaningful friendships. Human connection matters, but it doesn't have to be romantic. Build strong friendships with people who respect you, challenge you, and genuinely enjoy your company. From a health perspective, strong social connections reduce stress, improve mental health, and even increase longevity. 3. Pursue passions and purpose. Find something you're genuinely passionate about and invest time in it. Whether it's a hobby, a creative pursuit, a business venture, or volunteer work, build meaning into your life that doesn't depend on someone else. 4. Set boundaries and standards. Decide what you will and won't tolerate in relationships. Don't compromise your values, your dignity, or your peace just to avoid being alone. When you have clear boundaries, you attract better people and you protect your emotional health. 5. Embrace solitude. Learn to enjoy your own company. Read, reflect, take walks, pursue interests that bring you joy. The more comfortable you are alone, the less desperate you'll feel in relationships. Now, here's where I need to be honest. Self-sufficiency is healthy. Bitterness is not. If you've had bad experiences with relationships, I understand the frustration. But if your response is to generalize all women or all people as terrible, manipulative, or not worth your time, that's a problem. Because here's the truth. The common denominator in all your relationships is you. If every relationship ends badly, it's worth asking, what patterns am I repeating? What am I attracting and why? What boundaries am I failing to set? Self-sufficiency means taking responsibility for your life, including the patterns you've created in relationships. Here's the paradox. When you stop needing relationships, you become more attractive. Why? Because self-sufficiency signals emotional strength. It says, I'm good on my own, you'd enhance my life, but you're not required for me to be happy. And that's magnetic. People, whether romantic partners or friends, are drawn to those who are grounded, confident, and fulfilled. From a health perspective, entering relationships from a place of self-sufficiency creates healthier dynamics. You're not clinging, you're not tolerating bad behavior. You're choosing companionship because it adds value, not because you're desperate to avoid loneliness. Here's what I want you to focus on this month. 1. Build one thing in your life that brings you genuine joy independent of relationships. 2. Strengthen your friendships. Invest in platonic connections that bring value to your life. 3. Set clear boundaries. Decide what you will and won't tolerate and stick to it. 4. Take care of your physical health. Exercise. Eat well. Sleep. Your physical health supports emotional resilience. 5. Embrace solitude. Spend intentional time alone doing things you enjoy. These steps build a life you genuinely love, and when you love your life, you're no longer desperate for someone else to complete it. If this video helped you see things differently, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here every week with content to help you live with health, confidence, and fulfillment. And I want to hear from you. What's one thing you're building in your life right now that brings you joy, independent of relationships? Drop it in the comments. Remember, you don't need a relationship to be complete. You need purpose, health, boundaries, and self-respect. Build those first. Everything else is a bonus. I'm Dr. Jocelyn. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.